What up? Welcome back. Golden Era, I'm Marsh. We are recapping the years preceding our today date here in the Golden Era universe, which is 2033 rather. We're doing our third recap, 21 to 22. This is going to be, and I mentioned in the intro, not a lot of breaking the fourth wall. This is going to be every now and again we're going to have to do it. This is, though, for the 21 season, our last real-life draft universe. So we will keep you up to speed on the new names as they come in. They're going to be completely random. For you, that is, if you've followed along on Operation Sports, there's a ton of recaps on these players to try to get you up to speed on them. We'll follow the same process, make sure you know who the notable players are so you know it down the line. But this is the last one that you know of. This is the Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, and Evan Mobley draft. So let's kick it off. NBA draft lottery. Where do we sit? The Warriors. They've got a spot potentially in the top 5 if the Timberwolves pick that sits number 1 stays up there. Top 5 finished off as Spurs, Magic, Kings, and Thunder. The Thunder own the Rockets pick as the Thunder just build a juggernaut in the years to come, as many people in today's day and age kind of expect them to. Lottery hits, though. The Magic jump up to number 3. That gives them the first dab at Green, Cunningham, or Mobley. The Thunder move up to number 2. The Hornets coming from 6 all the way to number 3. The Pistons, the second straight 8 seed, they go in from number 8 up to number 4, and the Timberwolves falls down to 5. The furthest they could go. That gifts the Warriors another top 5 lottery pick. So our top 14 as we see it today, the Spurs, the Kings, they round out the top 7. The Knicks, owners of that Dallas pick, it doesn't convey in this universe, it does convey in this universe. The Knicks will end up at number 12, and there's your lottery. So what do we look like on draft night? Well, Jalen Green goes first overall to the Orlando Magic. They are building something there. They want another guard. They bring one in, and they've got Jalen Green to start building around. That gives Cade Cunningham a chance to fall to number 2. He goes to the Thunder. At number 3, the Hornets originally select Jonathan Kuminga, but that pick ends up being dealt to the Warriors, who are picking at number 5. The details of it are the Warriors get number 3, and they also get a chance to swap first-round picks in the 2022 draft. So number 3 and a swap next season for the defending champs. Hornets, meanwhile, they're going to get the number 5 overall pick, who they used to take Joshua Christopher, Eric Pascal, Kevon Looney, and a 2023 unprotected. So they move back 2 spots. They get an unprotected, but then they give up some swap rights. Why would they do that? Well, there's a belief that the Warriors are falling off. Yeah, they just won it. But Steph Curry's older. Klay Thompson's older. Draymond Green just hasn't really proven to be able to excel as he gets older. He's good, but he's not elite. So they're really banking on the Warriors to struggle in the following season for that 2022 pick to not really be that big of a swap. If it's anything, all that swap is just a couple of positions, right? The Hornets have an increased year. They have James Wiseman. They're adding Joshua Christopher to this group. They want to be competitive. They don't expect to really have much of a concern. If they're doing anything, it might be a couple seeding points. Who else do we need to know about? At number 4, Evan Mobley goes to the Pistons. Number 6, Scotty Barnes to the Spurs. At 8, Jalen Suggs to the Knicks. Brandon Boston heads to Atlanta at 9. Jalen Johnson goes to the Knicks at 12. Terrence Clark, he goes to the Wizards at 14. And then Jaden Springer ends up at 15. He is traded on draft night to Atlanta. And Moses Moody is traded from Cleveland to New York on draft night. So the Knicks in one draft had Suggs and Moody, a pretty good duo to start things off with. Free agency begins and chaos immediately ensues. One summer of quietness was just too much. Kyrie Irving kicks things off and says, I want to return to Brooklyn. Kevin Durant says, I've had enough of the Kyrie experience. I'm out of here. Where does he go? Miami Heat, the same team that beat him in the playoffs the year before in the conference semifinals. So for the second time in KD's career, he is leaving the team that he lost with to go to the team that beat him in the playoffs. Other notable ones, Utah Jazz say, we want a big man, but Rudy Gobert and his relationship with Donovan Mitchell is way too fractured to want to bring him back. Toronto says, we want a big man, and it just so happens that they've each got a big man the other team wants. Andre Drummond, he heads to Utah from Toronto. Rudy Gobert heads to Toronto from Utah. Not in a trade, in free agency. They both had the signing ability to do so. That's where they end up. All right, regular season. With Kevin Durant in tow, the Heat win 52 games, good for second in the East behind the Boston Celtics. The Warriors, meanwhile, win a league best 58. They're the top seed. So the Hornets, not really liking how this trade has already turned out. They end up with the 10th seed in the East. They're going to miss the playoffs. They'll be with the 9th best lottery odds. That's not what they thought when they were making that swap for Joshua Christopher and Jonathan Kuminga, but it's where they end up. Meanwhile, in the West, though, it's loaded. Clippers, 47 wins. That's good for the 8th seed. Houston, they also have an awful season, and they end up with 28 wins again. So, not a great run for James Harden and Houston with Russell Westbrook. Good season all around, though, for the top. The Lakers, they missed the playoffs altogether with 40 wins. Trae Young and the Hawks, a league worst 9 games. Kyrie, though, he says, look, I'm not afraid of being without KD. They win 49 without KD, and they end up as the 6th seed, setting up a Nets-Bucks first round. All right, our awards. Most valuable player, that's Stephen Curry. Defensive player of the year is Kawhi Leonard. Most improved, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Sixth man is the Nets, Spencer Dinwiddie, as he's a valuable piece for the Nets making a run back. And Jalen Green gets Rookie of the Year for the Orlando Magic. Let's head to the playoffs. We get our first big-time upsets in this new 5-game first-round series. The 7-seed Wolves, they're going to sweep the 2nd-seed Pelicans. Now, the Pelicans had been the number 1 seed a year ago. They end up as making the second round before losing in the conference semifinals to Utah. They're not even getting out of the first round. A young team that's having some early success but can't find a way to put it together. Doesn't matter, Karl Anthony Towns and D'Lo are making it done in Minnesota. Kyrie, surprising upset over the Bucks. That's the reigning Eastern Conference champions. The Warriors and the Clippers meet in the first round. They go to 5, so they had played. The last 2 NBA champions, remember, they played last season in the conference semifinals. They go to 7 this year. They go to 5. Meanwhile, the Heat, easy win over the Pacers in the first round. That sets up a juicy second-round matchup. It's Kyrie, it's KD. KD gets the best of them, winning 4-2 in that first round. The Heat end up going on, facing the Celtics, where they sweep them to get to the NBA Finals. The Warriors, meanwhile, they play the Jazz for the 2nd straight season. They beat them in 7. Really great series. Utah was up 3-2. Warriors rally back to win 7. It's the story of their conference semifinals, which happened against the Clippers the year before. Meanwhile, though, Nurkic and Capella, who had been added for the Blazers the year during the draft, they got him on draft night, go super big. They beat the Wolves to advance with Dame. Once we get there, it's a great 7-game series. The Warriors really struggled against the size of Nurkic and Capella, but they end up prevailing in 7. And that sets up the KD versus Steph, Warriors versus KD, NBA Finals in 2022. Once we get there, though, it is as competitive as you can see. 5-game series. The Warriors jump out 2-0. Both wins coming with big nights from Steph Curry. Curry, another 50-point game. Kevin Durant gets on the board before the Warriors close it out. A big night from Wiggins. And then Game 5, Steph Curry hits the game-winning, NBA Finals-winning jumper in overtime. With 0.2 seconds left, that comes after having to rally back at the end of the fourth quarter. Klay Thompson gets him rolling for a 3. Curry's 60 points in Game 5. That's second most in Finals history. He now has 4 games with 50 or more points in the NBA Finals. That's the most all time. And the Warriors, for the 2nd straight year, NBA champs.